Hi, everyone. Ronald Ingram here, your rebel banker, futurist, broadcasting live on YouTube and X from the Nevada high desert, looking down on the Luxor pyramid. So I want to talk about give some updates on where we're at. And yeah, I'm going to be a little bit quick tonight because I have another event coming up. That's for be a good opportunity to get the word out about SPOCK. But I'll take some pictures and let you know how it goes. Also on the PR side, first off, I've been really focused on dev lately. So you haven't seen me on X and Telegram as much. That's why you should all be happy actually when you don't see me as much, because that means I've got my head down and I'm driving hard, so that we're all about real product and delivery and shipping real solutions versus just talk here, right? So that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes we go a little bit quiet. That's because we're making a lot of progress. And in fact, the only interruptions that I've had have been not interruptions at all. They've been deep dives with some new investors, and just wow, I can't get over how challenging it is to onboard people in the current state. So this is very valuable customer discovery and learning, and will be very helpful. It's already been extremely helpful and is helping to form the end product, what we will ship with Brok when it comes out. So so very deep dive with a couple of folks, both of whom did eventually get their wallets funded and purchase their first SPOCK. Both of whom, this was their first wallet, and both of them would be massive whales. Well, they're ladies, so I don't think that they would like to be called whales. And very savvy and sophisticated women who have very accomplished and very large portfolios, is what I mean by the W word. And they love. This is the thing that connects with people, is that they love with what we're doing. And in fact, the onboarding process, the harder it is, ironically, I'm seeing that it kind of proves my point about how badly our banking systems from top to bottom need to be completely revamped. And so as we hit, every obstacle is invariably something to do with, and it's not just the banks though, it's more of our direct competition as well. So I always like to be kind of generous and just, and think of the whole community. All, we're all one big crypto innovator creator community, but we're not. We are all different. We're a co-opetition, hopefully, but in many cases, the competition may be fierce. I don't feel that way. I feel like there's room for all of us, and that's my perspective. So, however, some of these issues are with the other intermediaries and other players in this crypto space. Give you an example. So one lady today spent an hour with her, and first, and so we decided to go with Coinbase first for ease of for mental peace of mind for a lot of people, because Coinbase has FDIC insurance for cash balances, and it's used by the government. It's very large, and so for people that are moving, that are taking their first steps away from traditional banking into the crypto world, it may seem like a safer first stop, right? So we've been using that path lately, but that doesn't seem to be much better. People with tens of millions of dollars in their bank accounts, private banking, and affluent business owners, very, very high up in the socioeconomic hierarchy, if you will. Even these people, you would think that they would be treated with white glove service at their banks. They're not, and like I say, their banks are really at risk of losing these people. So there's a tremendous opportunity here for banks that level up, like my bank is doing, and but for everyone, for fintechs and all the new entrants, they see this as big opportunities, but they're dropping the ball a lot, because that's why I wanted to finish this story. So the Coinbase finally made some progress with Coinbase, and now this issue was, well, partly Coinbase. One was Coinbase, one was the bank. One person, funds held for 3 days, even though they were funded from it via a debit card. And another one used ACH, and their bank flatly said no and blocked it, which is, I listed all the laws that is potentially that are potentially violated by denying people their legitimate right to transact with legitimate entities. And it's your money. You should be allowed to do with it. And these people of means are, if they're experiencing these issues, I can only imagine what other people are experiencing in the in the middle market and lower income people. So that's whose bank probably doesn't return their call, or maybe they don't even have a bank account. There are. I did a deep dive into the area. There's a huge number of people that legal people, not just undocumented people, but legal people that don't have bank accounts in this country. 20, 30 million people that are deemed to be underserved or unbanked because they don't have a bank account at all. So there are tremendous barriers to entry just to buy SPOCK, I'm discovering. And I've got solutions. So this is actually a good opportunity for us. And many of the other crypto companies and the intermediaries are dropping the ball. So I'm still trying to finish the story. So gave up on Coinbase and went directly to Solflare. And Solflare, this isn't Solflare's fault, but one of the intermediaries that Solflare recommends, they flat out, so she tried twice. This is somebody with a lot of resources, financial resources, and just trying to do a small transaction just to start, right, as I advocate. And they were flat out told that we will not ever open an account for you. Basically, you're persona non grata. We don't want your business. So some of the crypto players are really fumbling badly. So we need somebody, and here I am. Here we are. That is understands what customers need, understand what the barriers are, understand how the regulatory house of mirrors, how the labyrinth of regulation works, and how to navigate that and transcend it. So we've got, in the end, we've figured out a really slick solution for this lady, and so it's now we have yet another means of onboarding people, and I'm not going to share that too openly because competitors might be listening to this one. So, but let me tell you. Oh yeah, so I've got this event tonight. These are good. These are I'm finding I might do more of this, because although it's a harder lift, it'll get easier and easier and easier as we find out what the issues are and make our solution the easiest way to onboard people from normies and newbies into crypto enthusiasts. We will be the ones. We are the vanguard, I think, leading this. These platforms should be paying us all the new quality business that we're bringing for the future of this space. But it's tremendous. So it's quite exciting, actually. The solution, the issues that once you solve them and resolve them, and a lot of these have been sort of temporary fixes, but exploring every possibility that exists in the systems, all the intermediaries, and working through with customers. This is what few CEOs do. Get product leaders. This is what you have to do. You have to do a deep dive, sit with the customer, look at over their shoulder, hear their experience, learn what they like. Well, there's very little that they like except the idea of making things better and inverting the banking system, like I talked about at length, which is our ultimate goal. Brok in every pocket and Spock in every wallet. That is really seeming like something a very compelling idea that is really needed, and consumers really want it. They want help with this, to help navigate the complexity of. They recognize that crypto's coming, or they're more than crypto curious. Some of my earliest posts, I would say, are crypto curious, and get a fun little tag to get people engaged. But people are fervently seeking knowledge in this area because they're recognizing that this is compounding, and not the majority yet, but now it's beyond just early adopters. The early majority is taking notice, and everybody now has a story of someone that has made a lot of money, but in crypto. And I realize in some situations that might be the sign of a bubble, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the VisiCalc moment, right? I like to repeat these things because that's a great little analogy of what's happening. That's the moment when PCs went from gaming and enthusiasts and hobbyists and degenerates across the chasm into business because of one app called VisiCalc, which became Lotus and Excel and all the spreadsheets, and became software, accounting software, and all the systems, trading systems, and all of that started with basically this VisiCalc moment, where all of a sudden every business had to have a computer. Every business is going to want a Brok too, because I don't talk about this very much. Well, actually, a little bit. There's normally two pillars in traditional legacy. Funny to talk about digital commerce as legacy already, but in normal e-commerce and in pre-e-commerce with debit cards and credit cards, you have a payment pillar and a acquiring pillar. Or an issuing pillar, and so the person that the pillar, the bank with the bank on top, and all the parties below go down all the way down to the card in the customer's hand. That stream, that chain ends in a card that is used to make a payment. Visa or MasterCard payment. On the other side, completely separate, different technology that's supporting the receipt of the receiving of those transactions, and then all of the things in the middle that are used to facilitate, manage risk, fraud management, all of those things. So that is what the current system, the existing system is, and there's very few folks that have been able to figure out how to re-engineer it, and it's just been getting more and more complicated as time goes on. So I am going to, the last thing I'll say, so that was a really good learning experience. Again, spending time and people, you know, I won't tell you what I bill consultants, but because then people will be, anyway, they're getting really good value. It's not very often, but it's really valuable. And this is what I tell people. I say, I thank them for spending their time with me to really do this deep dive and find out where all the pain points are so that we can solve them, which we're going to do with Brok, that is launching July 21st. And that's kind of like the real launch. Everything up till now has really been a soft launch. There's been no marketing or anything. Having said that, I just pulled up I'll just show it on my phone here. Yeah, that's where we've come from, right? So we see we got a little bit of a dip, today, which I've been buying, and so I'm not really fazed by that at all, and because regardless of the price, the utility of this token works, and the technology behind it is independent of the price fluctuations. However, and because of that gives us, I think, I'm seeing that there's lots of ways for this to go viral. And so what is that number? So we have a bit of a dip, but the actual number, reading it off my screen, and I just showed it to you, 16,629.21% since launch. So in the last 7 days, around 245% in the last 7 days, right? So the comparison to the early days is kind of ridiculous, but it's true. Those are the numbers. Quite staggering, almost impossible for newbies and normies and bankers to get their heads around. But that's why I just showed the screen. It's and past historical performance is not indicative of future performance, and I'm not an investment advisor, and this is not a security. This is a digital asset, as clearly promulgated by the CFTC and the SEC in their guidance March 17th and subsequent memo of April 28th. And even prior to, on top of the Genius Act and prior to the Clarity Act. So so even the annoying parts are actually they just prove the use case, or prove the business case, prove the need. There's no question that there's a need that we're satisfying. Everything here that we're doing, and on the intellectual property too, I saw someone commented that someone who obviously knew what had deeper subject matter expertise than most, and with a lot of experience in AI, said, gets how important the thing that I haven't even talked about today and didn't talk about at all yesterday, the Ingram Evaluation Matrix, where we make all the intelligence of the artificial intelligence available to the artificial intelligence explainable, by putting it into 4 immutable categories with flexible, very malleable subcategories dependent on the case, with 49 general subcategories that cover most finance and banking questions and concerns. So I want to get into some of the exciting things that we've accomplished with the build real quickly here. So again, we launched this just March 26th, fair launch, automatic migration to Raydium, 100% fair launch, locked liquidity, fixed supply of 1 billion tokens. The Litepaper went out May 2026. Oh, actually, a revised version. So I just put out a new version, Litepaper version 1.1. You can find it on the neobanks.com website. And this has been tailored to conversations that I've been having with institutions to make this more even easier to digest for bankers and strategic partners. So if you haven't been to the neobanks.com site, that's more corporate facing, and that's where the updated light paper is. So we started, the core Agentic Stack began even before the project, but the began taking shape in April 2026 as well. And but I didn't ever mention Brok, other just the concept, until very just a couple weeks ago, right? We're actually, yeah, and we launched with a patent, and that was really the launch. No marketing at all, but I just wanted to get the word out as soon as I got the patent out. So very informally and light, and just putting out teasers so far. And I've been teasing my LinkedIn community, where I have about 1,200 or so C-level executives that are followers, mainly CIOs and CEOs. And I haven't, and so I'm going to do my first launch on LinkedIn Friday afternoon, and so that could be impactful. I don't know. We'll see. But a couple of executives that are really, really close friends, they got in on the sharing is caring program, and one guy, I think that his 5,000, because initially the sharing is caring program was 5,000 SPOC, right? And so he was one of the first, and he got his 5,000 SPOC, and at first it was like kind of a joke, right? It was like $10, and I think he added a few hundred, and then he sent me a screenshot of his wallet, and he said, "Is this real?" and this is a guy that works in the payment industry, right? A really smart guy, but just people that it's just amazing how far ahead you are. If you're watching this, congratulate yourself. And if you listen to more than one of these, you're way ahead of the crowd. So you're well on your way to a very, very good future. Just not making promises about SPOC, but just you're in the right place at the right time and clearly savvy. So give yourself kudos for that. There's other, but really, just the last few days, I made a big breakthrough. So people that are, if you're very familiar with, if you spend much time with AI, you'll start to get really frustrated by having to repeat yourself because even the most expensive models out there, I've used them all. The memory does not persist, and this is something that I learned from my first LLM, my first conversational agent, 22 years ago that I launched. And it seems like is only really, maybe it wasn't possible before. Maybe they knew, they just didn't have the ability. But the persistence of memory was one of the most important things to make AI, from a marketing perspective, sticky, from a customer perspective, useful, right? Everybody wants to feel heard. And it's really annoying when your AI forgets, if you have a long conversation with your AI, that if it forgets what you're talking about, and you have to constantly say, do you remember? It starts to become, before I ask something, I said, do you remember this, right? And sometimes it'll say, no, that must have been in another thread, right? That's another thing. You have different threads and as well, right? So imagine this. This is something that I accomplished today. Imagine consolidating all the threads and having limitless, let's say unconstrained would be the better word, unconstrained, indefinite memory. and a few tricks to that. And so this is a fully custom stack, right, with a very sophisticated NoSQL database. So won't get into the different types of databases, but yeah, I won't. So but we have the way our system is structured. I'll just tell you what the benefit is it gives you persistent memory. So that means it'll be able to remember your taxes from the day that you get Brok forward, and it'll remember all of your important documents, your taxes from the prior year. It'll notice anomalies. It'll because remember Odin, right? I like to, a huge enthusiast student of history and mythology, and Odin, right, who gave up his right eye for foresight, and he also had these two ravens, Hugin and Munnin, and the two ravens represented specifically. This is not speculatively. This is known Norse mythology. One raven, Hugin, is thought, and Munnin is memory, right? So what we have right now and this is a deep thought. So it's this trinity of cognition, foresight, which is based on pattern recognition, a number of different things, thought, the processing of how you use, third thing, memory and foresight. So these two things form this cognitive triad, which is very key. And then the metacognition could almost fall into foresight, but it's almost a fourth thing, which is now the observer, sort of often represented, the observer is often represented by an eye, the eye of God, or the eye of Ra, or what have you, and the all-seeing eye, and so you have this pyramid of intuition, of foresight, which actually includes intuition as well, and which is a thing, and pattern recognition, and cognition, and memory, and thought. So anyway, the memory piece is key. You do not have an intelligent system without a persistent memory, and it's not very gratifying, and you can't develop the same connection with your AI. And we've cracked that. I want to lock that in. We've cracked that today, and so. In addition to that, as if I needed anything else, we have structured machine readable knowledge now. So Brok has ingested, depending on how you calculate it, at minimum 5. Just under 600 pages of documentation. Yeah, probably closer to 1,000 actually. I don't know. I'm just totally ballparking that right now off the top of my head. And but there are thousands of pages. But I figured, but the key is the process. And I've actually been working on this for weeks, if not months, that get it the most effective ways to ingest this information so that it goes into memory. Now, if some really savvy folks out there on AI are going to be aware that there's forgetting is also a feature, right? And so this is a tricky thing that AI developers have been struggling with, because if the persistent memory can also trigger hallucinations. Because we give it so many conflicting instructions. If it remembers all of our conflicting instructions, and it lacks the awareness of a model that I haven't talked about very much yet, and that also has to be still one other key piece that needs to be built in, that's completely proprietary, that nobody else has So therefore, I probably shouldn't talk about it too much because there might be another patent here. But it's an understanding and awareness of that it is used in the strategic fit to understand what it is that the individual wants, what the goals are. And many people are not very clear on those. And that's really helpful to be clear on those, but many people are not. And when you're not clear, then you see you can actually see the results of that in the thinking systems. And that's one of the things that causes hallucinations. So if your AI is having a lot of hallucinations, you might want to not talk about it too much because it might be a reflection of you, operator, generating so much conflicting information that if the computer remembers it all, it's just going to be completely confused and it's going to hallucinate to try to give you what you want, and when you're not even clear what you want in the first place, right? So that goes back to the Ingram Evaluation Matrix, the 4 areas: strategic fit, feasibility, financial impact, and risk, which are immutable and essential to every decision that's made in all of your life, even though you may not consciously go through those 4 categories every time. And if you're not clear on them, especially on strategic fit, that creates problems in your cognition, and it maybe gives you hallucinations, just like it gives the robot and the AI hallucinations. So that's a big thing. So we have been building the memory and the knowledge and the foresight and the metacognition and the deeper, what I call OL, instead of machine learning, operator learning. That's a concept I haven't really written about that much, but it's key. And I have to really rush here. So I also for tracking, I've had to use so I've integrated Git version control. Yeah, I know. And the what else here? Yeah. So, and also it's just now they have a clear path now to migrate everything. So I've only got like between 600 and 1,000 pages fully ingested at this point, including patents and books and my material, and especially deep in Ingram Evaluation Matrix. And but there's still a lot more. And but now it's easy. The rest will become very, very easy now that we've got the path and the process baked. And and then I'll probably be able to share the roadmap in a little bit more detail later, and like what July 24th is going to look like, and before. Some of you will have some early access, and yeah, and also a lot of work on the hybrid payment model. So using traditional rails and working on the new user acquisition, while also building the internal X402. The X402 protocol is pretty fascinating. It really is. So done a deeper and deeper dive into X402 and how we're going to implement that. And although Coinbase has been leading it, I've got different ideas on how that aren't in conflict, but may extend what we're able to do with X402 even beyond what folks thought is possible because of Brok, and more importantly, because of the NEO score, right? If you remember, the NEO score is the patented system of the simplest way I can say it is detecting and differentiating between malign and benign intent, at least, right? And that doesn't cover it all. There's a lot of detail, but just malign, benign, and not just for humans. It was originally, the patent was human-based only. No one had any idea when I wrote my patent that we would here in 2026 be so far ahead. I've already well past the Turing test and have AI that is so capable now to where we need to really consider. And as AI becomes more autonomous in the agentic economy and agentic banking systems, we need to really track and follow and vet the machine side and the human side together independently, either way. And that's what the Neo score has now been expanded to do in the latest version of the expanded patent from the core patent. So that's going to be really, really key. All right. So yeah, so a lot of I feel like the not the progress is like a compounding thing, because a lot of the things that have been accomplished in the last couple of days are accelerate everything. So that I said a couple of weeks ago that I was probably around a 9 or 10 FTEP. I think we're getting maybe up to like 20, may have doubled it, 15, 20. And by July 24th, it'll be 100. This will be, so I've amplified individual inputs by 100. So therefore, it's not at all. It's logical to consider the possibility of 100 million market cap by then, and that's the goal. So that's a stretch, I know. We've had some progress with CMC, Coin Market Capital. We have an application into Coinbase to get listed directly on Coinbase. That will also help with the onboarding, but we're not waiting for any of that. And there are I know there are many, many other things that we can do. I have added more humans. So there are 3 moderators, volunteer moderators now. So thank you, Rain and I'm never sure quite. What should I call you? Chatimus Maximus. Anyway, the has been helping out as well, and a third lady here in Vegas. So we are very appreciative for their efforts. And so I have to run to this event. I'd say yes, thank you for those who have subscribed to Substack. If you subscribe to Substack or paying subscriber to Substack, I will send you some. You don't already have the sharing and caring package. I'll share that with you. So, or a receipt for my book, Neobank, Navigating the Future of Banking. And sometimes I give out discretionary bags as well for extraordinary efforts. And yeah, so appreciate everyone, appreciate this community, and we are really, really in a good spot. And the next milestone is that we're aiming for is 10 million. I actually want to go beat that by a bit. I've spoken to some of you that my goal is higher than that, but publicly I'm saying. So it's funny, I'm giving a lower goal than I think that we will. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I have, so I'll stick with it. So the 10 million is the goal for this month, to get market cap up to that, and then I think that and it's not, really the goal is to ship the product, right, and the utility, but I can't say forecast. I can't say that I've forecast that we're going to be at a certain market cap or another. That would be hype, right? And that would be unethical and and not thought well of by regulators. Even though I don't know, I like to stay well within the lines that are that as they are right now. So because they're giving me ample room to maneuver, with the changes that we've had. So no need to blow anything up at this point. So yeah, but our goals continue to be very lofty. And remember, this is not in investment advice. This is activism advice. We are small but mighty, and never doubt that a small community can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has changed the world. So Margaret Mead quote. And interesting too, see the ladies group that we started here with. I see that as something that could really take off as well. It's really empowering for women to have, like, they're finding it empowering. I want to be really careful what I say, right? I don't want to say something sexist by accident, even when I'm trying to be respectful and honoring the contributions of these great ladies that have put time and really helped to accelerate our progress, and are going to help contribute to what is going to be a kick-ass product in Brok. And that is what's going to be the flywheel that drives Spock to unknown heights. And yeah, I'll lay out, I think, in maybe the day after tomorrow, the list, and maybe I'll even throw it out there, the list in like a poll, if you like, and to see which features. No, I don't know if I want to share all the things that we can do with competitors, though. So I need to weigh that one out. But I will lay out more of a roadmap in the day after tomorrow at the regular POCK Talk at live stream at 6 o'clock. All right. So I got to run. Live long and prosper.